But as to my obsession with haunted houses as a youth, one thing in my grandparents' place, they live up in West Bank, BC, they had this, it didn't really have a basement. They sort of had like a lower level, but it wasn't really a basement because it led outside, and there was like the back patio and stuff like that. And then there was the upper level, and then in between those two levels, underneath the floor, there was like this little wooden door. It didn't swing open or anything. It was just like a wood panel that you would sort of pull off and set aside, and it led down into this like cold cellar type area. And it was very well lit. It wasn't really scary, particularly, but I thought it had the potential to be scary. So what I did was I turned it into a haunted house. I made all these drawings of various monsters and a lot of torture victims, and just taped them up in all various locations. I had a guy like hanging from the rafters, and I had there was the furnace was there with the big air vents. So I had like one that was drawn so it looked like a window looking into the furnace, and you could see people burning in the fire and stuff. And they had these old, there was tomato plants hanging in there, and to dry, and I just put a sign there saying "the vegetable creatures." And then there was, so it was kind of weird. It was like there was two halves to the area. There was the half with the vents and the furnace and the vegetable creatures, and then there was like 2x4 sort of grid work almost, and on the other side was just darkness and dirt. And it seemed to go in a fair ways, so it went like way under the house. I never went over to that side. I referred to it as the other side. And I never dared go over there. It was too hard to get over there anyway. It was like these tight little spaces and such. But so I just stayed on the well-lit side and made that my little haunted house. So that was one thing I did. Another thing I did was my friends and I put together a little horror-themed attraction to generate some money. And what we did was we made posters and put them up at school, and we held it in the basement of my friend's house. And we had like little sort of stations you could go to, give us a ticket, and there was one station where it would be there was a tape that would have me reading a story, like a horror story. So we called that the Tunnel of Terror, and it was like this little seat underneath the stairs, so you would sit in there. The other thing was I forget what they all were now, but we had a few different ones. And the big sort of attraction was the haunted house, which was it was the biggest section, and it took the longest time to do because I had to make all these massive things of like, I did a big skeleton and monsters and things hanging from the ceiling. And what it was we had this sort of hallway in there that the basement was in the process of being renovated, but it hadn't been finished yet. So we just used what was going to be the hallway leading to a couple of bedrooms to turn into the haunted house. And we had like things in the little closet area and all sorts of stuff. It was really cool. So we had a few, local kids came by and checked it out, and they had a good time. We had fun. We made popcorn for everybody, and I don't think we made a lot of money. We made like $10, but it was worth it just to be holding an event and having fun with it, So that was pretty cool.